camp, you want to go and meet all these friends and eat all this delicious vegan food. What is it going to cost you? Essentially, that's up to you. The base cost for camp is $500, so $100 registration, and then the other $400 can be paid at a later date. If you don't have it all up front, don't worry, because you can pay it in $100 installments. Travel costs are up to you, which is where it can get tricky. The earlier you book your flights, the cheaper they might be. I would recommend using sites like Skyscanner, Google Flights, or cheapoair.com, and using them far in advance to try and really get the best deals on your flights. If you fly to Nashville, you're most likely going to want to ride the bus to camp, because like I said earlier, it's a 2-hour drive. It was a really nice charter bus with TVs, and we got to watch Silence of the Lambs, which is great. It's $20 each way to and from camp, so $40 round trip. And you can buy your tickets when you register for camp. If you live near Tennessee, road tripping is absolutely an option. I know a lot of campers did that last year, and it worked out really well. I know a lot of campers met up in between camps last year to explore Nashville, and they stayed in a large Airbnb and just split the cost. So if you're willing to do that, or you're able to, then add that into your expenses, as well as the expense of extra food or any souvenirs that you might want. Also, after camp, a lot of campers got together and went to tattoo parlors and got tattoos. So if you're interested in that, I would suggest adding that to your cost as well. Obviously, if you don't have the time or the resources or the desire to hang out in Nashville or get a tattoo, that's okay. You know what's best for you, you know what you can and want to do, and no one is going to think any less of you if you can just make it for the days of camp and you have other responsibilities that take your attention elsewhere. That being said, the one thing that I would suggest you budget for as maybe a bit of a luxury is money for the Maker's Fair. Every year in the cafeteria area, campers set up things that they've made, and you can go in and buy or trade them. I budgeted, I believe, around $40 or $50 for last year, and I was able to get some beautiful items as well as gifts for my family. And honestly, I wish I could have been able to spend more, because there were so many amazing things that I wanted. But even if you just, have $10, $15 to spare, there are wonderful things that you will be able to afford at camp. My friend Aislinn was an angel, and she spent all summer making friendship bracelets and giving them away to fellow campers. So even if you don't have extra cash, maybe you could trade and get a friendship bracelet in the process. I know that all of this is a lot to keep track of, so I've created a money chart, and I'm going to go ahead and link it down below for you guys. It includes due dates, a list of fees, and it's got a lot of blank spaces. So like if you want a tattoo, or you want to go to a karaoke bar in Nashville after or between camps, there's spaces for you to budget for that as well. Obviously, not all of these things are going to apply to every camper, but feel free to cross off whatever doesn't apply to you and keep whatever helps keep you on track. First things first, you are going to want to know what flights are actually available to you. If you live near a large airport, it's not going to be a problem, but if you're in a tiny town like I am, you might have to shop around a little bit and see what dates and what airports, which flights will get you where. It can be a little bit more effort than maybe someone who lives in a larger metropolitan area. To search flights, all you gotta do is go to Google, that's the easiest way, and type in flights from my city to Nashville, Tennessee, or flights from my city to BNA. BNA is Nashville's airport code. The most important thing when looking at flights is the time. Even more important than price, you're going to want to keep an eye on when your flight leaves, when it gets to Nashville, if you have a connecting flight, because connecting flights mean going from your airport to a second location and leaving that second location to get to your final destination. Sounds sinister, but it's not. Last year the bus for camp left at 3 p.m. So if you are flying into Nashville, be sure to leave yourself plenty of time to grab your bags, maybe eat something if you haven't had a chance to eat all day, and kind of relax so that you can find the bus and you won't feel stressed out. Also important is leaving yourself time between flights if you do have a connecting flight. So I would leave myself about an hour if possible between flights. Some airports are really big and it takes a long time to get from one gate to another. So in order to stop yourself from running at the last minute, give yourself time if you can to find your gate and get there. Here are some helpful tips whenever you are flying. Number 1, get to your airport at least an hour before your flight. If your flight leaves at 4 a.m., get there at 3 a.m. Give yourself plenty of time because you're going to need to print out a boarding pass if you don't have it on your phone or you haven't printed it already. And you're also going to want to deal with your bags. Carry-on bags are a certain size that are smaller than maybe like standard suitcases. If you do travel with the larger suitcase, you're going to need to check your bag, and that can get expensive. That's about $30 per bag on average. Just keep that in mind whenever you're packing your things. So after you print out your boarding pass, and if you have a larger bag, you check your bag, you pay your fee, you're going to need to go through security. Security in United States airports means standing in line, taking off your shoes and your belt, putting your laptop and your bags and any of your belongings into bins. These bins go along a conveyor belt to be x-rayed. You also are going to be x-rayed. Either you're going to be pat down, they're going to use a wand, like a metal detecting wand, or you're going to walk through a freestanding x-ray machine. It takes 2 seconds. It's not scary. It sounds intimidating, but it's really not, I promise. Once the TSA agent has x-rayed your bag and patted you down and made sure that you're clear, you grab up your belongings, put your shoes and your belt back on, and you're ready to go find your gate and hang out until it's time to get on the plane. When it comes to getting on the plane, don't rush. There's absolutely no need. Your seat number is going to be printed on your ticket, and it's by row and seat. So like row G, seat 3, or row double F, seat 2. Priority boarding is given to like VIP members or people that fly frequently. So if you aren't that sort of status of flyer, it doesn't really matter when you get in line because your seat is assigned to you. It doesn't bother to try and get a good seat. It is important to note that TSA agents and US regulations will not allow you to have any liquids over 4 ounces in your bag. They will take your expensive perfumes and your hair products and everything else and throw them away right in front of you. So always stick with travel-sized items if possible, just to be on the safe side. If you're thirsty, there are beverages to buy at the airport, but airport food is notoriously expensive, so it's a better idea to just carry an empty water bottle with you, and there are water fountains there to fill it up. While you're in the air, you might be uncomfortable. Your ears might pop because of the change in pressure, but that's totally normal. Yawning or chewing gum can really help with this. Whenever you're descending, your stomach's going to swoop and you're going to feel the impact of the tarmac, and the plane's going to be feeling really fast and it's going to feel like you're never going to stop, but I promise you it's going to stop eventually. That's all very normal and you're going to be just fine flying.